Shalom. This is your brother Kassad out of Great Millstone, Houston. Wanted to come do a quick hit, but before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and real well. I want to give peace and blessings to the Akinyon, putting on as the elect, striving for perfection and that crown of righteousness by being obedient to what is written inside these scriptures. Shalom. I was inspired to do a lesson and speaking with a few brothers, these last couple of days, just going into these afflictions, these sorrows, this persecution, it's going into the woes, We living inside this world and we are vexed as Lot was. We are vexed as Lot was, probably at this point in time more, because this is way more exceedingly wicked, as the scriptures goes, into a time frame in which we're living in. So, man, we're at a high level of vexation, But the Lord has called us to be strong and mighty and to endure, these times in which we're in, man. And that's, like the scripture says, he who endures to the end will be saved. So, man, we are commanded to endure these afflictions and actually even glory in these afflictions. That we're being crucified on a daily basis, for Yahweh Shai's sake, for righteousness' sake, out here. All right, being bringers of the light, stepping out of darkness and everything, not going the same way as everybody else, not taking that broad path, but being on that path of difficulties, that straight and narrow. So the Lord has called us out of that, into his marvelous light to walk after the light, man, and not after darkness. Okay, so it's what comes with that, man, is persecution. What comes with that is affliction, being tried, man, tribulations, being weighed down, with burdens, But man, we cannot let and allow these things to weigh us down and continue to just keep beating us down and everything, man. We send up prayers, and stay attached to the brotherhood, because man, two or more gathered, the Lord's in the midst. It's your strength in numbers. Okay, with this thing, we all are put together and placed perfectly together, not by mistake, but by purpose, man. So we are to be amongst the brotherhood, man. So because the Lord also, gives warning through brothers. So just listening to a brother, we're subject to listen to these brothers, and understanding what they're saying, because it could be the Lord speaking through them and telling us that, giving us warning about things that we're putting too much time into, things that have us going wayward or away from the gospel and the doctrine and everything. So, man, instruction, correction, man, these things are needed for growth. So you get that amongst the bodyhood, not off by yourself and everything. But being afflicted and persecuted is a part of this thing. I'm going to jump it off here. And 1 Timothy 4:1, man. The scripture, man, nothing in these scriptures says it's going to be an easy path, an easy walk. And it's not something that we can do on our own, right? We're going to need help, This is 1 Timothy 4:1. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils," man. So I wanted to touch on giving heed to seducing spirits, man. All right, because in these times, which are the latter times, there's a lot of seducing spirits out here, trying to sift you away from the truth, trying to guide you away from that light, man, and back into the world. As it talks about the dog returning back into the vomit. Okay, man, these are seducing spirits that you have to cast off, man. And how you cast them off through prayer, through fasting. Okay, staying locked into the body, being active in the body, man. This is how you occupy your time with the time that we have here. Okay, and staying in prophecy. Okay, doing these lessons, going out on the highways and byways, but being a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Don't want to be teaching things that you're not doing yourself and putting to work. So there's seducing spirits out here trying to take you away, because ultimately, you are in the darkest and the most wickedest kingdom that ever existed on the face of this earth. So the level of evil that's operating around you is at a very high level. It's at a very high volume. So if you're not always putting this word inside of you, if you putting off the cares of this world, if you're not putting off the cares of this world, letting the cares of this world burden you down and everything, man, you're gonna be seduced out of the truth. You don't want to be seduced out of the truth by these evil spirits. So if you're in the spirit, you want to make sure you're in the right spirit, man. Not that the bullshit family reunion spirit, the holiday spirit, any of these seductive bullshit ass spirits, man. You want to make sure you're in the right spirit, and that's the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, you want to be in the spirit of Yahweh, man. All right, and that's this word, man. Okay, operating in spirit and in truth, the scriptures talks about. But I'm gonna jump over here to Ephesians 4:1. It says, "Therefore, the prisoner of the Lord Yahweh beseech you." Okay, it says, "I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called." Man, okay, let's get the vocation. The word vocation. I'm gonna jump down to the biblical usage, and it says, "Of the divine invitation to embrace salvation of Yahweh." All right, to a feast, an invitation, a calling. Okay, so it says, "I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord," prisoner meaning that I'm subject to doing what is right, because the Lord has given me that insight, that spirit upon me. So I'm subject to suffering, all right, affliction. Okay, so I'm a prisoner, therefore, of the Lord. I beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation. Okay, so worthy of that salvation that's coming. Okay, work for what you have, man. It's a thing about working to obtain something and just being given something. When you work for something, you've obtained it. It's worth way more. All right, the scripture talks about how this is a labor of love, and how, man, our labors will not be in vain. Our labors do follow us in this thing. So we are working out our own salvation with fear and trembling right now by doing what thus said the Lord. Okay, so it says, Ephesians 4:1, it says, "I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of vocation wherewith ye are called." Okay, with all lowliness, okay, and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. So lowliness, man, being humble. Okay, the Lord will keep you in a humble estate, and lowliness in a low estate, just to get you, to keep you close to Him. All right, to keep you crying out, to keep you on your knees praying and everything, man. Okay. So the Lord will keep us in that type of estate so that we can keep our eyes focused on Him. So once again, you got to think that, man, you got brothers, man, you're going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai no matter what. And then you got some brothers that get down and say, man, maybe I'm doing this and I'm doing that. When you start doing this, then that, man, that's that spirit, that doubting spirit, that demon that's trying to hop on you. You got to rebuke it. Okay? You gotta rebuke it. You gotta straighten up and fly right, man. All right, you getting put down to the lowest, this low estate. Being put into that humbleness, because the Lord sees something in you that needs to be, straightened out. Obviously, all right. And then we get this correction from people, from brothers, from things that happen in our lives. All sorts of things, man. Lord intervenes, man. He's the father of all spirits, man. He can intervene with anything. Okay? Send a deer through your windshield. All right? Just to tell you that you need to be focused more on me. You need to be focused on walking spiritually. So, but it says in Ephesians 4:2, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another. Okay? So meekness, all right? With long suffering. Let's grab long suffering. Okay? Because this is a major part of the ministry. Having long suffering. Being willing to suffer long. All right? So it says forbearance or fortitude. Patience. All right? Patience. Endurance. Consistency. Steadfastness. Perseverance, man. All right. Patience, forbearance, long suffering, slowness, and avenging wrongs. All right. So even slowness and avenging wrongs. So if you're quick or make haste to try to offend yourself or avenge yourself, you're not giving way to the Lord's wrath. You're not letting the Lord operate. All right. So you're not operating inside this gospel, which it says that, man, we should be long suffering. Okay. So we to be patient in this thing and to be long suffering. Okay. This is the thing of long suffering. That's, Paul going into being a prisoner. Okay. Prisoners are not having it easy. The ideal prisoner is not having it easy. He's in a fucked up condition, boxed in, can't do anything, to a certain extent. Right? So he's a prisoner. He's not free, so to speak. Okay? So you're to take that estate in which you in and be long suffering. Okay? Forbearing one another and love. Okay, and showing love, man. Charity. Okay, charity goes into love. Love goes into charity. We have to love one another. Love our brothers. The scriptures talks about, commands us to do. All right, it says endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. Let's get this word, endeavoring. All right, to make effort, prompt, earnest, diligence, be diligent, forward, endeavor, labor, study. All right, let's get this biblical. It says to hasten, to make haste, to exert oneself, endeavoring, give diligence, man, be working. Okay, endeavoring to keep the unity, so working, laboring to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. Okay. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called, and one hope of your calling. So, man, in these things in which we in, it's a thing of working. This is serious business being a part of, right? And we must continue to be about our Father's business, as it talks about in Luke 2:48. Yahushua is about his Father's business. We must be about our Father's business as well, man, by following after the example that Yahushua has set for us to follow after, man, being followers of Yahushua HaMashiach. All right, let's keep going and go ahead and jump into this Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and grab some of this. The book of Sirach, chapter 2. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. So there's going to be temptation that we're going to have to endure through. Okay? We're going to have to forbear. All right? We're going to have to be strong and planted and rooted inside this gospel. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble, man. So making haste in the time of trouble is looking for that comfort zone. We ought to be able to find that comfortability inside these scriptures. All right, that's the only comfort we're going to have in this world. Any other type of comfort is temporary. It's just things of the flesh. No, this is a spiritual warfare. This is a spiritual thing that we're inside of. So we have to get our substances, as it talks about in Isaiah 33:6, man, our sustainability out of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, that's what's going to be our sustainability in these times in which we live in. All right. So it says in 3, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. Okay, so you don't want to be decreasing in the last end. You want to be increasing in the faith. Okay, so if it's a decrease that you might feel is happening, it's time to lock in. It's time to get a part of the body, part of this ministry. Okay, time. And just be steadfast inside this thing, okay? And pray that the Lord will increase you in these days in which we're entering into. Increase your faith, all right? Increase that spirit upon you, Increase the fear of Yahweh upon you, because it's better to fear Yahweh than men, You know, fear is the beginning of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So you want to dwell with that fear upon your life, man, knowing that you must please the Most High, the one who created you, man. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus 2:4. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate, man. So we're commanded to take these tribulations, these trials cheerfully. All right. As man of the Lord, the scripture says, take it cheerfully and be patient. Okay. Once again, endure. All right. Endure, long suffering when thou art changed to a low estate, man. And once again, that low estate that you're being changed to is to bring you closer to our power, Yahweh. The scriptures talks about if the Lord loves you, he chastises you and treats you as a son. Okay? You are as a son to the power, Yahweh. Let me read that. You know, it says, despise not thy chastisement. This is Hebrews 12:6. Get the King James Bible. It says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chastiseth and scourges, whoops, every son whom he receiveth. Okay? What's this say down here? Right, man. So it's a thing of being girded up as children, man. The Lord's not sparing a rod to his children that he loves. All right? Come on. All right, let's jump back into this Ecclesiasticus, book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Acceptable men. Once again, being tried, man. All right? You want to be an acceptable man. Being tried, man. You want to be gold. Tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So having this adversity, having this fire in your life, these trials and tribulations in your life, man, think it not strange, as the scriptures talks about. The Lord said, man, it's going to happen. But we have to understand that, man, we must decrease so the Lord can increase in our lives. So we might be putting things on our own plate that the Lord don't want on our plate. You know, and the Lord's putting it on our plate still, opening that door just to show us that this ain't what you need. This is only weakening you. All right? Stay in that lower state and enjoy that lower state. Okay? Because that's where the Lord has you at. You know, the scriptures talks about, I believe it's Revelations, that, you know, go back to that first love. Like when you first came into the truth and the gospel, man, and that, you know, you had that fire in your eyes, that passion and everything. You want to maintain that spirit. All right? You want to always constantly think about that spirit that you had upon you in that place of passion that you had, man. When the Lord opened up your eyes, showed you that mercy and that grace, and, you know, called you out of darkness and showed you these things, man. Started revealing himself unto you, and you started cutting off your old ways and everything, man. You want to remember how zealous you was going step by step, getting things right, man. How particular you were by doing things and everything, man. So you can be right in the eyes of the Lord. You want to remember that, man. This is where you want to be at, man, as an acceptable man. All right. Moving on to 6, it says, believe in him and he will help thee order thy way aright, and trust in him, man. And continue to trust in the Lord Yahweh, man, our power. Continue to trust that these words are faithful and true. Continue to operate in faith when it comes down to it, man. All right. Have that hope. You know, have that confidence and work, man. This is 7. It says, ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest ye fall, man. It's only the Lord's mercy that is going to sustain us in these times in which we in. Nothing else is going to sustain us. Okay? Just the Lord's mercy. What he brings to us. What he has already set up for us. Because you got to understand, all these things were already written before time. We're just people playing out roles inside the Lord's theater, you know, the Lord's movie, right? So he knows what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. But you want to be an acceptable man. You want to be that acceptable man that's being tried in that fire, man. Taking it cheerfully. Understand that the Lord is changing you to a lower state for a specific reason. All right, because he loves you ultimately, and he's showing you that mercy. So, man, don't go aside and don't fall. This is 8. It says, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. It says, ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord Yahweh and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon his name? Right? So the Lord has left us these scriptures, these different accounts inside these scriptures to show that the Lord is near to a broken heart. The Lord is near to those who call upon his name. All right. The Lord is our rescuer, our fortress. He's there for us. All right. So it says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of mercy, compassion, and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands and the sinner that go 2 ways. Okay? So you don't want to be double-minded. You want your nays to be nays and your yays to be yays, especially in this time in which we living in. All right? When communicating with brothers, you don't want to just be going off doing your own thing. All right? All right? So it says, woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands. You don't want to be faint in this thing, getting weak in this thing, man. All right? Fearful hearts. Woe is me, spirit. It says, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways, man, double-minded. It says, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord Yahweh shall visit you, man? So you want to keep the fear of the Lord upon you. You want to keep the faith strong. You want to be increasing in the spirit and doing what you need to do to increase it, man. Increase that spirit upon you. Increase that faith in you. Right? So it says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? Okay, so man, if you lost patience, okay, so you didn't have the ability to suffer, you wasn't long suffering at all. All right, the scripture says, what will you do when the Lord shall visit you, man? All right, so man, woe is what it says, total destruction. Right? It's gonna be a lot of people in that day that's saying, Lord, Lord, I've done this and I've done that, but the Lord has given us all measurements of the Spirit. He's given us talents, giving us silver and gold, man, and to see what we're gonna do with it. And man, you're supposed to be working that, working those gifts, those talents that the Lord has given to you, man, with the best of your ability. All right, jump into this Romans 8:28 right quick. It says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh, to them who are the called according to his purpose, man. So we have to understand that, man, all things work together for good. So, he's given us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to operate inside of, and to be wiser, to be smarter, to be in love with this gospel and this truth and not in this world. Like it. So we're to operate in the understanding of this truth and know that, man, hey, all things work together for those who serve the Lord. All right. If we've been brought to that lower state, it's because the Lord needed us to get right.